Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my podcast. Today I'm so excited to be joined by one of Kenya's top 40 under 40 men, Bright. Karibu sana.
Asante.
I'm so happy that you finally made it to come to my podcast.
Yeah.
Been looking forward for it.
It has been a long time planning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know Bright, can you give us an introduction? Who you are, what you do?
My name is Bright Gameli Maudo. Originally from Ghana. Been in Kenya for in and out 18, 19 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cybersecurity engineer, a consultant, trying to move into different spaces as well.
Yeah.
Technically, I'm just somebody who's all about cybersecurity.
Yeah.
A father of one, a husband to one.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I just love to tinker with computers. That's just my entire life to say.
Yeah. So I think for most of us who know you, like we can't separate you from like cyber security. When you hear Bright, you just hear cyber security.
Yeah.
And like even in the market, if you're to ask anyone like who's the to-go-to guy for cyber security, it's Bright.
Yes.
So you've been able to successfully build a brand around cyber security. And I know for most guys watching, they'd want to know, especially for someone who's looking to get into that space.
Yes.
How has your journey been, to become an expert in cybersecurity? What have been some of the learnings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I started off when I was pretty young. That doesn't mean people have to start as young as me. I was about 6, 7 when I started working with computers, creating viruses and stuff like that. That has been a very interesting journey for me that I started pretty young, but I kept on being consistently.
Wait, at 6 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a very easy virus to be created. Just nothing, just malicious, but...
Yeah, but at 6 years, what kind of virus?
But trust me, there are kids right now who are as young as that age and doing much better things.
Okay.
Yes.
So were you trained? Like, did your parents take you somewhere to be trained, or?
So in fact, at first they were against the whole thing of me getting too much on computers because I was spending too much time on the computer. So one day they took me to one of those places to learn computers. An 8-week course, I did it in 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours.
Okay.
It was pretty easy for me. And so I finished the course. It was basic computing, Microsoft Word, Office, MS-DOS at the time when MS-DOS was a thing. So for those who don't know what MS-DOS, those are a black screen where you type.
Yes, and you type a command.
Yeah, so I was really fully into this command type of things. So I did all of that. That was back in Ghana before I came to Kenya, and I kept on trying to create those, thinking of being a software engineer. And the software engineering was not my thing. I understand code, I can read code, but I don't like to code.
All right.
Yes, I can manipulate code and everything. That has been my lifestyle for a very long time, which is quite interesting now. Then that was when I came to St. Mary's, went to Daystar. Then after that, I worked with Cellulant as an entry-level security engineer.
All right.
I knew nothing. Trust me, at that point, I thought I knew stuff, but Cellulant just showed me I knew nothing. And I learned so much from other people. Later went to South Korea where I got a scholarship to do my master's in advanced information science and technology, specialized in cybersecurity. And then right after that, I did a PhD in IT convergence and application engineering. It was by luck. I did not plan to do a PhD.
Yeah.
So during the master's, I was supposed to do 24 credits. I did over 40 credits. And the PhD, so with that, I had automatically been pushed to be able to do the PhD, which I had too many credits. So the PhD required 36 credits. Mine was reduced to 30 because of the credits that I did in the master's.
Yeah.
And for those 30, I was supposed to do only a maximum of 6 credits every semester by the 10. So 1.5 years, I was done with that. I started writing my papers and my dissertation way before, right from the beginning. So I had a lot of time to be able to always coming up with something new, new learnings all along the way. I kept on writing, publishing papers. Because Korea, you can't just do a class with the written papers. You have to publish a paper every semester, at least one or two.
Yeah.
That has to be published. That has to be presented. It's where my presentation skills started coming in. Because I was not naturally a public speaker. It was very difficult for me. But Korea is where things changed completely.
Yeah.
Because as of now, as I speak to you right now, I've technically done about 153 public presentations on cybersecurity, which is going to go on. I'm going to go on the way to 200 plus. Reason why I've been doing that is just to share knowledge, and the more I share knowledge, the more I learn.
Exactly.
Right. So that's the thing people don't usually understand, that they don't want to share. If you don't share, you don't get to understand exactly what other people are trying to do as well.
Yeah.
So finished that, came back to Kenya, became the head of security for Cellulant, and that also it's a whole lot of learning for me because it's a software development company, and I was trying to take care of security, but in the process I started learning how to do product development, product solutions, how our product teams get to be built, how do you build a company to be able to come up with amazing products and solutions. Later left there to go to Internet Solutions, where I set up a whole cybersecurity division to sell to customers. So it's not really selling to them, it's more of being able to give advisory to clients and give them the right solutions and the ways to be able to protect them or secure them. So I don't tell people I'm a salesperson, but I can sell. I don't know that.
No, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
It's more like a go-to-market kind of strategy building.
And
I became an advisory personnel to most organizations. Not that they're bad. Most of them are good, but they needed extra help to build resiliency. So that is the journey that I've been taking, and that has been my thought processes all the time. I have a lot of zeal to always learn something new. So as I learn, and some people don't have the time because they're already swamped with what they're doing, I get to learn, I get to advise them, I get to tell them these are the things you can do, the best tools to use, the best processes, the kind of controls you have to put in your organization and systems to make sense, not to get hacked. Hacking is inevitable. You can't prevent it, but there has to be ways where you can stop or curb a lot of it. So that's been my work for a very long time. But I'm transitioning to something different, which is a little bit of data science. I'm not leaving cybersecurity. I'm fully going to be practicing cybersecurity as a consultant, but I'm moving to a full-time job, which is going to be more about data science, making data make sense to people. That was going to be starting from next year. So those who are watching now, that's the big news. A lot of people. So yes, so I'm just trying to move away from that sales kind of position to a more building of teams and building products as I used to do back at Cellulant. So it's going to be an interesting journey because there's a lot of learnings that are going to come in, and I'm ready to face new challenges. So that's it. But however, a lot of people keep on asking how to get in cybersecurity, how to get to be a thought leader in that space, because I consider myself a thought leader in that space. So I formed something called Africa Hackon about 8 years ago, which Africa Hackons was trying to bridge the gap between people who are shy or even know a lot of things but don't come out. Right? I wanted to go to some conferences in the United States called DEF CON, Black Hat, and I was like, I don't have the money to go. The easiest way to do it is to make sure I can create my own. So we got 2 sponsorships at the time from PwC and IEEE at the time. The IEEE gave us 50,000 Kenya shillings, that's $500, and PwC gave us space. So you come use our space just to launch your initiative. So that has been.
So the guys come and then you train them.
So we don't train. We basically let them expose themselves.
All right.
Yes. So we started off by letting people come to speak about what they know in different domains of cybersecurity. Mostly technical. We love to make people make sure that they are every presentation you do, you can't present more than 15 slides. If 15 is too much even. 10 slides.
That's it.
That's it. Begin the introduction, the end, the middle, which is the other 8 is content. The rest has to be physical demonstration as to how hacking really happens. With that way, we let people get to know exactly how hacking really gets to actually happen. So we've been doing that for a very long time. We attracted a lot of international players as well. People like Microsoft flew in. We've got a lot of sponsorship as well. And it's a non-profit. We don't make money. We don't make any money out of it. And so that has been going on for a while now, and we're about to do a bit more, a lot more than that, to make sure that, I mean, the outcome of it has grown the community. How that has happened is because what I was trying to do with Africa Hackon is how do I create a ripple effect. So when people come to the conference, we hold workshops, we hold capture the flag challenges, we hold different entities that you learn something new. When you learn, you basically go teach other people.
Exactly.
So when we even started, we started going to universities. We asked the university, give us a room with computers, let the students know, and give us soda and mandazi, or in lunch maybe, if you can, for 2 days. That's all we ask for. We're not charging anybody. So the whole team of Africa Hackon keeps on going to those places to talking. So we did that for so many universities. We are about to start doing that again. And with that, it turned out to be a lot of people are quite interested and wanted to build that capacity from the university level before they even get to graduate. So by the time you graduate, you already know exactly what cybersecurity is. You have the skills to be able to get into a job. It also bridges the whole job market where people are not getting employed because it's hard. And the conference only comes to gel everything together to make people get from the individual space into the corporate entity, because some of them will know how to hack, they'll know how to do capture the flag challenges, but they don't know how to be able to sit in a corporate office and do proper security. So what capture the flag challenge is that we have virtual environment we have built. Those virtual environments basically gets to mimic what a real life will look like. You're supposed to break into the virtual environment and capture a flag. A flag is just basically a key, which has a specific kind of tag. You bring that and submit to a dashboard, and you get points. So it's a game. So there's so many people who are part of those kind of games now, and I am happy to see that every time I go online, I'm seeing there's a whole new game being played by a university or some new entities who are doing that as a day-to-day thing, making students get to learn different kind of cybersecurity, from networking to web applications to cryptography. So you become a blend of everything. Do you know we've gone from universities now to high schools? Yes. So my youngest mentee, or my actually personal technical assistant, is actually still in high school, and he's now 18 years old. But he's doing so well in the cybersecurity space that when this kid finishes school, he will not have a hard time getting a job. That's the kind of thing we've been trying to do when we with Africa Hackon, building that whole space of talent, nurturing the next best talent for Africa. So we started in Kenya, went to Ghana. I've been seeing a lot of things happen in Ghana and Kenya. We want to expand it to Tanzania, Uganda, and other kind of countries, because it's the way we're going to bridge the skill gap, because there's a shortage of skills.
There is.
In the cybersecurity space right now.
So a number of questions. So the first one is, when you're doing your PhD, you've mentioned that you did a lot of publications.
Yes.
And I feel your passion for the like doing all these talks stemmed from there. I don't think if you hadn't done the PhD and subsequently like done all those publications, then probably it would have been something that you probably never thought about. So I don't know what your thoughts are around doing a PhD, because then there are so many people who would say it's a waste of time. Do you feel that it was worthy?
Even my writing skills started when I was doing my masters.
Yeah.
I met a guy in church, and we just chit chat. We met when we were having coffee, because you have coffee after church, you get to network.
Yeah.
So and that was the first time I went to church in Korea, because Korea has a lot of cults, so many cults. So you have to be careful where you're going to as a church. So I found the right one after like almost 3-4 months of being in Korea. I was not going to any place, and it was a bit weird for me. A lot of people tried to lure me into their cults. It was freaky. Yeah. Trust me. It was really, really, really freaky. So this guy, it's called Jonathan Mapong. We met, we just chit chat. He's like, what school you go to? What are you doing? So he told me he's also doing cybersecurity, and I'm like, oh, even me, you know? So he's like, let's write an article about the latest hacking that happened recently in a newspaper. So he wrote his, I wrote mine, and I'm like, I'm not a writer. I don't write. I've never been a writer. But now I feel like, let me just write what is in my head. So I wrote down my thought processes, I gave it to him. He edited a little bit, add his own content. And we had another friend called Michelle. Michelle was a publisher. And Michelle went and published. It went so viral, I was shocked. Until today, I see it online when I Google that. And I was like, wait, that was amazing. Like, we were able to actually write something about. Then I'm like, okay. Then Korea has the thing of a lot of conferences to present ideas. That's how they excel a lot in the kind of research they do. So a lot of our universities want you to write papers. And by that time, my professor was not even around in the first year. He was in the States for an exchange program. So I didn't have anyone to really guide me on how to write a proper research paper.
Okay, so this was masters.
Yes.
Okay.
So I wrote the first one, and this is not a newspaper article. It's a technical journal. I mean, a technical, how do you call it, paper, which is going to be published, and that was going to IEEE. And IEEE is one of the highest publications you can ever get when it comes to engineering. Okay. So I was scared. I was like, okay, it's not gonna work. So I wrote the paper, and I sent it to my former boss, Tyrus Kamau at the time. And Tyrus was like, yeah, add this here, change this here. He added his comments. I rewrote it, sent it back to him. He checked it out. I was like, this is good to go, send it. And there are processes or ways of you being able to actually write a technical paper. You need to include formulas, you need to include solutions. So I wrote it and I just sent it, those ones of whatever. Yeah. It came out that I actually got selected. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Then they told me I have to come present a paper, which is also costly because you have to travel, you have to go and get accommodation. It's expensive for a student. My dad sent me money. He's like, you go do it, go present. I did, and ever since then, I kept on writing papers. So that kind of culture got built into me, that it used to take me 2 months to write a paper. It became 1 month. Got to a point I could write a paper in 3 days. And 3 days writing a technical paper is quite difficult. It's not a newspaper article. Newspaper you can write in a night. But a journal, or where you're going to get published into a technical journal, is difficult. And for you to get to a level what to call a camera ready, that's why people have reviewed and everything. It's quite difficult. Got to a point I was selected to now start reviewing people's papers. So I started reviewing other people's writings, and I get to give points, and I said this is good or bad or rejection or anything. And of course I had a few rejections. So that kind of research mindset, always trying to read something, always trying something new, is what got me to keep on being like that. Consistency in cybersecurity came from that. I see a lot of people who get too comfortable with what they're doing. Right. And they totally miss out in the industry. So if they want to change their careers, they're not going to be able to change because they only know one thing and one thing only. In the industry, which I tell people you need to get things like certifications and everything. I don't have a lot of certifications, but my experience proves it. It shows. And so I take my presentations out there in the industry, my writing that I still write in the industry as my certification as of proof. So if you go to my LinkedIn, I mean, you did my LinkedIn revamp. You can see I keep on trying to put something different, something new, or comments on articles that have been written.
Yeah.
That is another way. So I tell people, you don't have to necessarily do so many certifications to show that you're good.
Qualified. Yeah.
I was interviewing someone the other day for where I'm working right now, Dimension Data. And man, I saw amazing CVs. CVs that are showing you that this guy has done so much. But in the interview,
exactly, I know,
it just wasn't adding up. And I'm like, are you sure
you've done all this?
You've done all this?
Yeah. I think there's a problem with our education system.
Yeah.
And I think you feel that a lot, especially when you're interviewing.
Yes.
Because when you're studying your masters and even PhD, there are other things that were instilled in you that an IT person, at our local university does not get.
Yeah.
And you see like things, those other softer skills, like can you make a presentation? Are you a leader? Can you stand in front of people and say ABCD? It's really lacking.
We need to change that in our education system
completely. We need to partner with industry, like now, partnering with Dimension Data, for example, to try and find out what skills do you need. Then now we work backwards and ensure that the people graduating are being
that
taught,
they're ready when they come out.
Exactly, they're being taught those exact same things. So what are some of the gaps?
We don't explore a lot of abilities that we have. I feel a lot of universities, which is something I'm trying to see how can I help. We don't let people express themselves.
Right.
I lecture at Strathmore. I do talks. I'm a guest speaker. I'm a guest lecturer at so many universities. The one thing I see is there's too much theory.
Yes.
A lot of theory and there's no practical. And practical, I don't mean that we need to necessarily have to have a practical session happening, but let people experience what's going to be out there in the industry. And even the kind of papers they write can be research or thought processes of what they want to come up with.
Exactly, but we don't do that.
We don't do that, and they don't necessarily have to even do it. But you see, if you research about how coffee can be brewed, right? And you said it can be done in 1, 2, 3, 4. There's instant coffee or the brewed coffee or the kind of types. You don't necessarily need to have seen how the coffee brewing process is done.
Yes.
But you can read about it and say, I can see how it's been done online. Somebody has written about it. I think if we brew it in the clockwise position, not anti-clockwise, it will come out ABCD, or the grains and the sizes and everything. We don't do that. Everything I see most universities tell you is you need to show practicality. You need to act. So people go and copy and paste or let other people do projects for them.
Exactly.
I saw a student from another university who he's doing his master thesis. Guess what? He's been told to do a research on a particular topic which needs background in programming. This guy has never coded in his life. He's never touched code. But you see, somebody went and wrote the code for him and he passed. So he would never practice that in the real life. He doesn't understand what was written.
I think we are not teaching the graduates to think.
Yes.
And it really shows when they come for interviews, because then now, like as a recruiter, you put out a job and thousands and thousands of people apply, but then you get like maybe 50 only. Then from those 50, when they come for the interview, like someone has a master's, so you ask them something simple. Okay, so tell me about this research project that you did. And they have no idea.
I think that our whole filtering out people. You remember you redid my CV when I was applying for a particular
and can
job.
give anyone imposter syndrome, please. Guys, if you read Bright's CV, you just ask yourself, what have you been doing with your life? Like, honestly,
are you exaggerating?
No, it's the truth. It's the truth. I had to sit down and rethink my whole life, because it's not possible at your age you have managed to do all that. But anyway, I digress.
So that particular CV you edited for me, and you asked me a lot of questions, and I didn't even know I did some things which I added. It was for a job which I will not mention the company. There were the person, the hiring manager told me there were 850 applicants. And they filtered out so many things. So there's a system automatically filter out keywords in the CV, and just put a few people out. It was reduced to half, so it came about 400. Then again, they had to sieve through that and see who have those qualifications and everything, and somehow I came top 10. It was a very long interview process. I mean, it's just the automated kind of interviews where there's nobody watching you, you're recording yourself, you read questions, you answer in very short minutes. Then we came to top 3. No one got the job because of a particular requirement they had, but they didn't tell anybody. So I think that's why I didn't get a job. But today, no hard feelings for me. If the job is not for you, it's not for you. That's what I tell people. If it's not yours, it's not yours. Just let it go. So I did let it go, and I got my lessons from that. But I realized that why do people get filtered out? Because of those small details as to what they have done that they can't put on their CVs. So it makes it difficult for anybody to articulate exactly what they're capable of, you know. So I tell people do a lot of, if you don't do those practical things in the university, say that you were involved in, you've created this, you took part in, you presented on, you can't put that on paper. Yet the systems automatically fish out those key things. Involved, took part in, presented on, presenter at. I don't think people ever get to know that it's actually a thing. You know, so I encourage people right from university or even high school, take part in those challenges.
Exactly.
Get to be able to do a research, talk about it, do a webinar, call your friends. I used to call my friends when I was in Korea. Imagine we book a hotel, not a hotel, an apartment. We do projects over a weekend. That to me is an achievement. You know, and I said, okay guys, this is how we're gonna do it. My professor had a rule in what we call a lab. So the lab is an office. You have to come to the lab every day. You're basically working. So I was technically working for 4 years without necessarily having it on paper. The lab has a rule that every week you have to come present a new idea to the team. Every week. So imagine every week, if you don't read, it's always on Thursdays.
Exactly. If you don't read, you
don't have anything. And you're not going to go there. And he invites random professors to come vet. So it's not just him. So today is this guy from this other lab, tomorrow is another lab, and you have to give your topic by Wednesday, so that he knows who to invite. Then Thursday you have to present that idea. So every week you're learning something new. You're constantly learning something new, and you have to present that thought process. And I had to develop a way so that I'm not going to do a PowerPoint presentation. I write on the board. Okay, so I go on the board and we have a whiteboard, and I said, this is what those smart boards. I learned A, B, C, D, and this is what I thought about it. This is how it went through. And here's a demo of a code that I was able to edit. That kind of ability of things that I've been doing enabled me to actually be sorted out by an agency, international agency, intelligence agency, and I was doing the research for them. My job is nothing offensive. I research, I give them the results, and they paid me well to just live my life, and they paid for me to learn new things, courses online. It was quite interesting. I should say, for confidentiality's sake, I can't mention them. But I think it was one of those best experiences. I'm like, I can't believe this guy's even noticed me, you know. So it's one of the things that I encourage people to always keep doing. Anything you have and it's an idea, bring it out. Anything you feel like is in your heart. My young mentee calls me at 2 a.m. It worked, and I'm like, what worked? It's like, I tried this code, I tried this tool, I tried this, and it's actually working. And I'm like, what even made you think that way? It's like, because I saw you do it here, and I decided to add a few things onto it. That will never leave his CV. So by the time he's done with high school, this guy has a CV, which is going to be rich with a lot of information. So if there's anything I'm getting out of it, and I hope guys, you are able to to get the wise nuggets from that. Today, I saw, and did your CV, and someone can look at it, but then, you don't know how many years of blood, sweat, and tears
that that it took to get where you are now. And I think we are living in a generation whereby we just want things, microwave generation, want things now, and we don't want to work hard. Like if you knew what it took, and like all those weeks in the lab, just like working and researching and writing, and like I always see you like 2:00 in the morning, you're up doing just something. So that we recognize that it's a lot of hard work and sweat and tears. And to just wrap this up, what are some of the softer skills that are needed for one to be successful in a career in IT? Because I see many IT professionals, like number one, they're very shy. So there are guys who are very good at code and doing all that like behind the scenes, but then when they come for an interview, they're not able to articulate themselves very well. So what are some of the, and especially when you're interviewing and getting people for your team, what would you say are the top 3 or 4 soft skills that you'd be on the lookout for?
So I basically, so by the way, my sleeping thing has been, it was worse in Korea. I used to sleep at 6 in the morning. I sleep at 6 and I'm awake by 10 to the lab, and it's a whole day. Things that I think a lot of people need to just start practicing is how to speak.
Yes.
And it starts from your close circle of friends. I teach my mom and my dad basic security skills. They're not expert, that's not their domain. But you see, if I can teach them the basics and they're able to understand, I can teach anybody.
Exactly, like how to lock your phone and
lock my phone, what not to click on. Then my mom is like, they've sent it. These things have come again. And I know I'm not gonna click on it. My dad is like, this Canada people want to now get me to come to Canada. Like he knows it's fake, and he forwards it to me. So when he reads the newspaper, some article about cybersecurity, like, okay, I can see something here.
Yeah.
He was like, you can add it to your list of things. So if you can try to teach the layman, try to have a conversation and try to explain to them. I always encourage a lot of people. We're in WhatsApp groups, which I always encourage people to speak out, come and do presentations. And I told them, excuse me, the one thing you're going to do is you will fail. That's a fact. The first time you do it, you will fail. There's a very high chance you'll fail that whole presentation. You're going to fail that whole demonstration. We have something called demo gods, where it's the demos that you do offline are working. The moment you get on the screen that there are 100 people watching, it goes wrong.
Oh my God.
So demo gods will forever come at you. You cannot escape it. The amount of time that hits me on stage, I was presenting to 500 people at a point in time and things just went wrong.
And then?
You have to improvise. So as time goes on, I started learning how to be able to do flawless presentations. Some of them are just flawless, that there was no error, there's nothing that failed. It happens once in a time. But even now that I'm experienced, I still have those moments. So I tell people you have to keep on practicing. And that practice starts from your small circle. Start with your family, start with your friends, start with 2 people, start with 1 even. Get to teach them. I teach my wife security. And now she gets to tell me, I can tell this person is lying about this, I can tell this is fake, I can tell what is real. If you don't keep on doing that over and over again, you'll get to a point where now you face people in a panel. And these interviews are now online.
Exactly, it's on Zoom.
Yeah, it's on Zoom, and your camera is on. You will start getting to fumble and everything. So because interviews these days, your camera has to be on. I see people reading on the left, trying to type. See that. I'm like, okay, we know you're trying to cheat and everything, but I'll catch you off guard. You'll be caught off guard. So it's best if you know how to speak to your friends and teach them what you know. Is easy. The other thing is also how to be able to just read things out loud. I tell people that is a soft skill that people ignore. Take a paper, take your presentation, tell people.
So it's public speaking.
It's public speaking, but not even public, even to, like say 2 people, not even 3, not 4, not things that are out of top of your head where it's actually difficult. Being able to read something to people helps you to train your brain to be able to articulate anything new that comes to you quite easy. The more you do that, your the cognitive reasoning becomes very flawless, and you'll be able to pick any new information even as you go on, and adjust to it. People don't like to read stuff, so when the first time comes where they have to do a presentation, they start fidgeting. They're like, okay, I'm stuck. So reading things to people, even what you've written down, is an easy way of being able to actually get to be better. So even when you're doing an interview, it's easy that even if you are cheating or you want to cheat and you have notes in front of you, you're flawlessly, because I've done that before. I'm doing an interview and I have my notes in front of me. So as I'm doing things and I'm like, this, and I start looking down, I've looked at the word and I know what to say. It's a skill. You will have to get used to it. And in the day and age of interviews where it's going to be online, we need to start getting used to such things. It helps also in the general knowledge sharing and being able to be comfortable on stage. Another thing also, when it comes to like physical interviews, I tell people you need to actually know how to move around. Your hand gesture, if you're stiff, you'll forget. But if you start relaxing and showing your hand movements, this is how you do things, this is how to move. Like I learned things, and cramming is not going to help. People memorize things so much, it's just not going to work. You know, and if you don't know the answer, say it. I tell people, like, look, I'm not asking. So when I'm doing interviews, I don't ask the obvious questions of define this, do that. Even my students, when they're doing exams, I tell them you can do this exam at the beach, I don't care. You can do this in the kitchen, I do not care. But if you cheat, I'll know. And they're like, hey, how would you know? I'm like, guys, I can tell. And I'll give you you say you have the whole internet. But if you don't pay attention in my class, it's easy to fail. And some have failed my exams where they had the entire internet with them. They had people even around them to do, but you cannot do it if you don't understand. And the time that I've given the exam, trust me, even if you have somebody next to you helping you, you cannot get to submit all of those because of the time. Because you need extra time for somebody to help you and put it down on paper. It's difficult. So those little things, and trying to talk to people is something we need to get used to. And if you're good at something, a particular area of skill set, learn to describe that in less than 30 seconds. What do you do? Within that moment somebody said, what do you do? I blah 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 blah, should be less than 30 seconds for you to be able to get the person interested in listening to you more. Because the more you get people to be interested in what you do, the better you become at being able to actually sell yourself anywhere. I've met a billionaire some time back, and I had a very short moment to be able to make an impression. After I introduced myself and what I do, and I said what I can help him do, he came back after 15 minutes after going around. Even at the car wash, I met a guy the other day, and his friend introduced me. He's like, oh, meet Bright, Dr. Bright, he does this, he was helping us when we were at this company. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he left, and the other guy who was there, I didn't know he's a legend. The guy's a legend in the industry of tech and building solutions. And at that point, we started talking. The guy left everything he's doing. His food came, maybe he forgot it. We got engaged so much because 30 seconds is all you have to be able to engage someone and be able to get them interested enough to come back and say, look, I want to now really meet you and take your card, or be able to have conversations. But people oversell themselves in things they're not even good at. I will not tell you that I'm the best at security, cybersecurity governance. I'm not. I understand it, I have an idea, but I'm not the best. So I'm not going to talk about that in those 30 seconds if I'm not going to do it. So specifically, focus on one area. As you get to become better at things, you get to add more stuff to your portfolio. So as your CV grows, you add more details to your 30 seconds and make it shorter. And it's just being able to summarize things properly, especially in the area that you really know that you're very good at.
All right, thank you very much, Bright. This was very enlightening, and I hope, guys, you have been able to pick a thing or two. And I think the thing that is coming out very clearly, yes, you have this degree in IT or this degree in cybersecurity, and you have all these 1 million certifications. That's perfect, bravo. However, you need to also build on your softer skills. Are you good in presentations? Can you be able to, articulate or break down very difficult and complex concepts to, like the common person? Just like imagine you're explaining something very complex to an 8-year-old. Are you able to do it? Because then remember, when you're going for an interview as this IT professional or cybersecurity professional, there are 1,000 other applications, there are other people coming for that same interview. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to stand apart? I hope you're going to listen to this podcast, and it's going to help you know also, like what you need to do to ensure that the next time you are going for an interview, you are successful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Thank you very much, Bright, for all the nuggets.
Thank you for having me. Maybe one last little thing.
Yes.
There's something which I learned which helps people to be able to express things much easier.
Okay. Use
things around you.
For example?
I can explain how email works with this water.
Okay.
For example, you can see the amount of water that is here. Mm-hmm. There's a way that if I pass it on to you, you will take it. Mm-hmm. I can either pass it on to another person in this room to give it to you, or I can stand up and go put it there and tell you to go pick it up.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
That's how normal things work. For the next person who is on the other side, who is watching, can actually learn how I'm passing that on, right? Yes. So they can mimic what I've done. If they come to pick the water from here and put it there because they routinely see you going to pick it from that particular spot, you'll go pick it up because you don't know who put it. It's the same way emails work. They have to go through someone, right? They have to go through a system to be able to get to the destination for you, the person who's receiving, to get it. Okay. Now, when email hacking actually wants to happen, people mimic that route of things, but you don't see what has happened in the background, and you actually go pick it up and open that email link, and you think it's real, but they made a slight changes. That slight change could be the order of how the email has come, the shape of the cup, but they look very similar as they turn it around, and you don't get to know.
Yeah.
So you see, I've just explained how email hacking gets to work with simple things that are around me. Without necessarily talking about, or the SMTP server that they are going to create is called a sending mail transmission protocol, which it means if you send an email from here, the send mail transmission protocol on port 25 or 23 or whatever is going to take too much jargon. Yeah. We need to try to explain things with examples around us in a very short period of time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
for that.
Sure.
There you have it, guys, explaining very complex concepts in a way that an 8-year-old can understand. Thank you very much for listening and watching this podcast. See you next time.